Hi. If you're joining for the first time, my name is Tayo. I'm a Nigerian who lives in Ontario, Canada. I moved to Canada about 5 years plus ago, and I've been living here with my family. I have two kids, my husband, and yeah, we've gone through ups, downs as immigrants. If you're an immigrant from any country to another country, you know how it is stepping down into a country. But I've decided personally that I'm going to be sharing my story to encourage people because I remember vividly that when I came to Canada myself, I also relied on other people's story. The theme today is networking clinic. 3 small shifts to make it less awkward. So share it if you can. If you know someone in your community or your circle of influence that will find this valuable, please share it with them. Yes, we're having a networking clinic. And why do I even think, who do I think I am? Why do I think I'm qualified to talk about this? Is because networking is one thing that I absolutely love. And I didn't love it. I didn't always love it because when you move to Canada, they will tell you always that, yeah, you need to network. You need to network. For me, I thought being an extrovert was going to make it easy because I can talk to anyone. But then I quickly realized that being an extrovert or being extroverted or being the way I am is so different from networking itself as a whole. And there's a method to the madness. I had to learn that method. And I have now come to the point where I've kind of, to an extent, because I'm still learning. Life is a journey, you'll keep learning. But I think I've come to the point where I'm so comfortable with networking. I'm comfortable with small talk. I'm comfortable with, selling myself. Yeah, that's what we say. Like, when you meet someone, you want to sell. You have few minutes to pitch. You only have few minutes to convince them that you want to be in a circle of influence. So I want to share some of my top 3 tips on how you can get comfortable with networking, without actually feeling awkward about it, without feeling cringe. I have some friends that when they go out networking, they will tell me that, Tayo, I'm gonna channel my inner Tayo. Oh, thank you for that follow. They say, I want to channel my inner Tayo. And I'm like, okay, because to them, networking seems like a chore. It's very awkward, very cringe, just coming out and talking about yourself. Three common shifts for me, small shifts for me that I will share with you. So stick around, let's talk about it. And I would love to hear from you if you are on that journey too. Share your tips and tricks. And maybe we'll have time for question and answer at the end of this 30 minutes. I'm going to time myself. So I'm starting at 5. Hopefully, I would stop talking at 5:25 and then I would allow for questions and answers. If you have any questions, definitely reach out. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about networking. What do you guys think networking is? What do you think networking is? And do you feel like chatting? Okay, so drop an emoji, like a clap emoji or heart emoji, if you feel networking is awkward and cringe. If you're lying. If you feel networking is awkward and cringe, drop an emoji. Let's see you. I'm going to drop an emoji because sometimes I feel like it's cringe. Do you feel like networking is awkward for you? I feel like it's awkward and cringe most times. And yeah, I feel that. I feel that way. I know that I felt that way when I came to Canada first, and I had to start to network. Okay, so tonight I'm going to debunk that and share with you 3 common shifts that can help you move networking from cringe to comfortable. Okay? And let's get right into it. So why do people hate networking? Why do people feel like it's cringe? One of the reasons, and I hear that from a lot of people I speak with, is they feel like people would not respond the way they want. Like people will reject them. It's like they feel like it's transactional. Like when I come to you and start to chitty chat, small talk, is because I want something from you. And that could be a turn off for people. And that's correct. And sometimes people feel like, honestly, I don't even know what to say. Like, so I come to you or I go for a networking event. What do I say? So those are some of the common reasons. And I put them together because I talk to a lot of people, immigrants like myself, and even non-immigrant, my colleagues at work, friends at church. And they always talk about, honestly, Ty, I don't know how you do it. Like literally, I don't know. I just feel very awkward just chit-chatting, talking to people. And rightfully so, because I've been in situations where I come on people, like I go for an event, I chit-chat, I have the small talk, and the person on the other side is not having it. And honestly, it's the most awkward situation ever. I have learned, over the years, I've come to what's that word I keep looking for? Reframe it. That if I reach out to you, if I come to you and I try to make small talk with you, and you are not giving me the same vibe, you just missed an opportunity to hang out with or to get to know an awesome individual, which is me. So it's your loss, not mine. So I've come to reframe it that way. And that's the way I see I've been able to know who I am, comfortable in my skin and comfortable as the person I am, to the point where even if it's an awkward moment and you don't give me the same vibe as I give you, I just walk away. And most times, more often than not, it's just you and I, and so nobody actually gets to know what happened there. I just walk away to my next victim. if you know what I mean. So yeah, it can be very awkward, and most people don't actually want to network because of that, because of the awkwardness that comes with people not giving you the same vibe as you're giving them. But I want to tell you guys today, like literally, that's their loss, not yours. So if that happens to you, just walk away and move on to the next person, and you can never tell that person could have the same vibe as yours. So that's why those are like common reasons why people cringe and think that networking is not for them. So let's reframe it, and I will start with my first shift, and this is literally the way I think now about networking. I try to think about it as relationship building and not necessarily trying to talk to someone because I want something back from them. So it's not about what do I get from you. It's about getting to know you. I'm actually feeding my curiosity. I'm not talking from the point of, oh my God, I know who you are and I want to get into your space so that I can get that thing from you. So when I'm going for an event or I'm trying to network and meet people, I come from a value point of view. So, for example, okay, let me give you a very clear example. So I want to have a coffee chat with someone. And obviously for that coffee chat, I must have reached out to that person. So before the coffee chat, I'll do my research on this individual. I'll go around maybe on their LinkedIn, or just now everybody has a stage. So all you have to do is like Google someone's name or just go on one of those AI apps and just reach out, write to the person's name, and you see everything about them. So when I do, I will now see our affinity points. What do we have in common? Do we love volunteering? Does he like the sport that I like? Does he like fitness? Because I love fitness. Is he a person of faith? I just look at my values and theirs and see what we have as affinity points. So when I look at that, when I want to talk to them, I come from a place of value. I listen and, okay, tell me a little about yourself. I tell them about myself. I hear about them. And then hopefully, if those things are their real values, it will pop up in the tell me about yourself bit of it. And I will pick from it because I've prepared for that conversation and speak about things that could be of value to them. I hope you guys are tracking that. So when you reframe networking as relationship building, actual relationship building, this is not you pretending that you're trying to build a relationship, because it's going to show you're not going to be authentic. You don't want that. And people will actually see through the facade of you pretending. You won't be able to go to the end of that. I can tell you that for free. So if you actually see it as relationship building rather than networking, maybe change the name from relationship building to networking, and then you start to see value in actually building relationship with people. So the second shift for me is, I spoke about it a little bit earlier, is about genuine curiosity about people. So when you have a coffee chat, for example, when someone is telling you about their journey and their self, you've done your homework, you probably know a lot of it already, but you can't just blah, 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 blah. You can't roll your eyes and say, well, I already know that. No, you want to actually be curious. And if you pay 100% attention and you're listening to them, you'll be able to pick some things that you can use to probe further. So that will really show that you are listening and you're really curious about them. It's not about just listening or just doing the blah, 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 and just wanting to just go through the motion. So it's about real curiosity about individuals that you're talking about. And this could also play out if you go for an event. You want to ask, someone is telling you their elevator pitch, and this and that. You are actually asking questions right away. Oh, I live in, interesting. You live in Texas? Oh, my son was born in Texas. And I remember that when I went there for, those kind of things, you talk about it, and it all boils down from you having life experiences. And honestly, it is almost impossible as immigrants, I talk for myself anyway, to have all the experiences in the world that will allow you to sound really curious about people, because our experiences, our backgrounds are definitely different. But you could ask probably questions to actually know more. Thank you, Lakeside. So actually know more about what they're saying. You could actually ask probably questions. So you could ask questions around, common things, whether, I don't know, I can't think over my head, but if you're really, really serious about this kind of things, you'll be able to pick one or two things that are saying that you could ask more questions about. It shows that you're listening, and it also shows that you're genuinely curious about them and the topic they're talking about, or whatever they're talking about. So the first shift for me is reframing networking from the actual name networking to relationship building. And the second one is staying curious, like genuinely curious, not just about pitching yourself away, and vice versa. So if you're listening about someone, if someone is talking to you, if you are talking, about yourself to someone, you don't want to talk as like a robot or like you're in an interview. You want to talk about yourself. You want to pause so that it can ask questions right away. You respond to those questions. So even if you have practiced your elevator pitch in front of a mirror multiple times and you know it in your head, you're not going to come to a networking event and be rapping it like, yo, my name is Tayo. I live in this. No. You're like, oh, hi, my name is Tayo. I work with this organization. It's nice to meet you. This event is really, really amazing. As in, I could never in my wildest dreams I think that people will come together for such a thing like this. Because my background as a Nigerian who moved to Canada, right now, in that point, I am talking and rapping. I want to pause so that they can ask questions. Like the point where I said, never in my wildest dream will I think that people come together for such an event like this. How so? That's the person asking me. I said, because as an immigrant, my experiences are different. Like we won't come out to, we won't. It's just not in our nature. It's not in our culture. And this will allow the person I'm speaking to ask a little bit about my culture, and then we start to talk. And that this situation is kind of, this will work well in a networking event, for example, as against the coffee chat. So just being curious, staying curious, allow and removing it from being an elevator pitch to actually sharing about yourself to allow for curiosity on both sides. I hope you guys are tracking. I'm talking a lot. Are you tracking? Are you tracking? Let me just quickly type my shifts so that in case someone joins this in the middle, they will get what I'm talking about. The first shift for me is reframing. Networking as a relationship building, not just some blocks. Okay, yeah. Also, the second shift for me will be lead with curiosity. It's not a pitch. Yes, you have your elevator pitch on the lockdown, but you don't want to be rapping into the person. You want to calm down, allow them to ask questions, and vice versa. You ask them questions too, so just get to know them. Stay curious. Don't make it a chore. The third and final step for me will be to make it very authentic and to follow up. Authentic, similar to the case study or the story I shared earlier, is all about you. So when you want to network with someone, I'm not going to pretend as if I'm someone that I'm not, because it'll be so hard to follow through with it. I want to, even if I'm ignorant, like I'm new to Canada, I literally know nothing. It's acceptable because my experiences are different. You have to recognize that what people know, you don't know, and what you know, they don't know, and you can't actually share what you don't know. And the whole idea of you putting yourself out there, networking in the first place, is so that you can get to know about experience. You can actually have new experiences, and also get to share experiences with other people. I've seen that most of people always ask me, even at work, that you know what, sometimes they forget that I'm kind of new in Canada, and I say, yeah, I'm new in Canada until I'm 10 years in Canada. I'm still going to call myself a newcomer. The reason is I have constantly exposed myself to situations where I genuinely learn about other people and their experiences. And what comes out of those situations for me is a richer experience for me. So not only do I have my experiences, I don't have to live their experiences, but I get to learn about their experiences from having genuine conversations with them. So it's very important that we put ourselves in situations where we learn about other people's experiences. And as immigrants, sometimes people tell me that, oh, but Tayo, there are no opportunities to learn about people's experiences. I haven't gotten a job. If you're in Canada, one of the selling points here, what they love the most here is volunteering. If you serve and give yourself up for service in your community, whatever community, it could be your residential community or your faith-based community or whatever community that aligns with your values, that could be the first stage in you actually listening to people's experiences. I'll share an experience with you. So in 2022, I joined a church in the city that I live, and the same year, through the announcements and everything, they said they were going to have this program or this course. Is a faith-based course called Alpha. Alpha is a faith-based course that is about 8 to 11 weeks. I can't remember now. I've done it so much that honestly I don't even. I just go through the motion that allows you to understand faith from the beginning. Why faith in the first place? No matter what level of faith you are as a person. So you could be an atheist, you could be a Christian, but maybe you were born a Christian, and so you never really asked questions. That was my situation. And so after the first season of Alpha in my church, I decided I loved Alpha so much that I was going to start to volunteer. So the next 2 years, back to back, they host it twice in a year in my church. And so every year I would volunteer. And what that means is that I would have to be with a group of 10 people in a small group and just watch a video every Monday. And then after watching the video, we get to discuss the videos. And more often than not, those videos would require that we share stories, like we share our life story. Why are we here in the first place? Why do we think the way we think? And one thing that I realized is that the Bible course Alpha, honestly has grown me in ways that you will not even imagine. And it's not just with my faith, it's even with my experiences, because I was born a Christian, and for that reason, my mindset is in a certain way. It's just straight up. Like you when you're born, you're either Christian or Muslim, and that's how we are in our country, Nigeria. We're very religious. So even though we have non-Christians and Muslims, most people when they were born, they're actually born either to a Muslim family or a Christian family, and they stick to it. And then we have other religions, but they're not really popular. So because of that, I have that bias that everybody has a religion, but not everybody has a religion, rightfully so. That's okay. So just being in that environment. So I've done Alpha now about 5 times, and what that means now volunteering. I volunteered 4 times, and that 4 times as like a table host. And what they do is I just listen. I listen and I probe. I put in probing questions. I listen and listen and listen. And so by listening, people are sharing their life experiences. And even though I never show that I'm shocked at some things, because sometimes I am, I have opened up my mind to the possibility, the endless possibilities of individuals around me. It's amazing. And that's an example of how you can actually learn about experiences that you can actually use even in the workspace. So I was able to serve in a community that I'm part of, which is a faith-based community, because it's full of human beings too, like you and I. But every lesson that I've learned in that faith-based community, I've now translated into like my workspace, business, and everything. And I use it now, and people feel like I have a robust life full of experiences. But all I have is my experiences from growing up in Nigeria, Lagos, Nigeria, for almost over half of my life. Bottom line, shift 3, try to be authentic. Authentic, share your stories, share about yourself. Don't try to be somebody else, because it will be almost impossible for you to end it. And then once you have actually connected with these individuals, either through a coffee chat or through a real life connection in a networking event, if you really do find them interesting and your conversation was awesome, you want to follow up. This is what I do. Let me tell you what I personally do. If it's a networking event, I love going for conferences. Everyone that knows me knows that. So when I go for conferences, sometimes I'm meeting people for the first time. Sometimes I met them online and we're just putting face to the name. Maybe I've been following them on LinkedIn or Instagram or TikTok like this, and I'm seeing them in person. I will immediately, after having a short conversation, short and fast conversation, I will immediately take my phone and do a selfie, not because I want to post it. Sometimes I do post it if they allow. I'll ask them, are you comfortable with me posting on LinkedIn? If they say, no, this is not, if I look at it and it's not the best picture, I won't post. But I will share the picture with them and say, hey, Tayo, it was so lovely getting to see you in person. Put a face to the name. I absolutely love that conversation that shows I'm listening and I'm genuinely curious about them. You can see how we tie that up very nicely. I know it seems like a lot of work, but I can tell you for free that in life, everything requires that you practice. Practice makes progress. If you consistently do this, it becomes second nature to you. Like you meet someone, so the motion will be this. You go out, you meet someone, you have a genuine conversation, out of curiosity, not a pitch, and then you go back and follow up. Simple follow-up. And my own trick about following up, because people go for events. I personally go for events. I meet so many people that actually want to meet me. They've met me online. They've seen me online. We've engaged with my profile online, but they're seeing me for the first time. It's almost impossible for me to remember everyone. But imagine the added touch of taking a selfie. And, after a memorable conversation with that person, I would then send a DM and say, hey, Tayo, it was lovely chatting with you. Earlier, I absolutely love what you said about ... That will not only show that I'm genuinely curious about them, it will also show that I was listening. And everybody wants to be listened to. I don't know about you, but I talk quite a lot, but there's nothing more rewarding than seeing that someone that I spoke a lot to actually was listening. I don't know if you guys get me. And listening enough to actually drop back to me one of the things that I spoke about. And, I'm very passionate about networking, mentorship, just career progression. So when I start talking about it, you gotta stop me. I'll just recap very quickly, reframe it from networking, call it relationship building. It becomes less stressful and less scary when it's okay, I'm trying to build a relationship with this individual. Thanks, Lakeside. Rather than networking. The word networking is very cringe, very awkward. Yeah. So yeah, reframe it. Also lead with curiosity, not a pitch. So yes, we have the elevator pitch, but let your elevator pitch to the point where it becomes conversational. And you can allow for probing questions. You can allow for people to be curious to know more, to want to know more. So let's try that. Practice your elevator pitch. It's always nice to have that pitch in your head because it will guide you, give you the guardrails. Otherwise, you'll be all over the place if you're anything like me. However, you just have it in your head, but then you allow for the people that you're talking to ask questions and to show that they're listening and they are genuinely curious about what you're saying. And then finally, be authentic and follow up with a very simple message. You could say, you could join me and just take a selfie with them at the place that you met them. If it's a one-on-one coffee chat, then much better. If you were paying attention, at least you'll be able to find at least one thing that you can hold on to in that conversation that you can send back to them and just, thank them for and tell them about how excited you are about it. I hope with this few points of mine, you all are convinced that networking is not as scary as it sounds. It's not as scary as it sounds. You can go out there and network people. Your network is your net worth. It's important for us to try to put ourselves out there and try as much as possible to position ourselves. I spoke earlier about not seeing it as taking a selfie with the person and DMing them about the conversation. Yeah, that really helps because if it's an event, they might have talked to a lot of people. So how do you want to differentiate yourself from those other people? Yeah. So taking a selfie and then ensuring that you can stay memorable is a game changer. So it doesn't waste that conversation. You can actually take it from there. It has worked for me time and time again, honestly. And I know that it worked for you too. So let's see. So I want to give you guys a call to action. After this conversation that we've had today, after the networking clinic that I have spoken about, I've spoken for about 34 minutes today. I'm charging you to go out there within the week to book a coffee chat with someone or go for a networking event, paid or non-paid, and just put yourself out there and try these three three, shifts that I've shared today and see if it actually works. Or maybe Ty is just talking. I don't know. Maybe Ty is a special child. Maybe try it and maybe send me a DM and let me know how it works. I would really, really love to actually know how it works because it's worked for me time and time again. And I want to debunk one of the things that some of my friends say, Ty, it's easy for you to say because of your personality. I feel like if you follow the framework, irrespective of what your personality is, you would get success with this. I think so. I believe so. And you going out there to actually put it into action and coming back to share will be it will be really amazing. And I'm sure it will be, it would help others. So thank you so much for watching. Really appreciate you guys. Thanks for joining. I'm getting to love TikTok Live. Sometimes it seems like you're talking to a wall, but I know that this message is reaching the people, even if it's just one person that needs to hear this. I know that this is reaching that person. So thank you very much for watching. Till next time. Appreciate you guys. Bye.